Hello, target traders. Welcome to the 19th of June. Bit of an interesting week on the markets. We started down after that drop last week. We have defended that, come back up. I really think that at the moment, as I said yesterday, that within the absence of any negative news, the market will drift higher. Bit sideways chop at the moment, but the physical market in Australia closed about 2 hours ago, and in the future still continuing upwards. You can see on the S&P 500, I do want to note that the moving average for the 200 is creeping up here. We still got support from the 50-day moving average. The Feds have said they're happy to support the markets. There has been the worry about the second wave, or whether it's continuation of the first wave, but overall, there's strength in the markets. And one other thing too is look at this volume around here. That is, and even this looks smaller because of the increase. We are seeing really good volumes on the 500, ASX following a little bit here. You can see the average there of lifting. To me, this shows strength in the market, and I think Kramer here, this is one of the few people I follow, and I like how he's calling out the big fund managers, saying, scaring people away when at the end of the day the funds are still buying, and there's a lot of action at the moment around the Robinhood app, and people saying yes, no, good, bad about that, but overall people are still buying. Prices will go up, and if you go over a 20, 30, 40 year average, you make money on the share market, and everything that's happening right now will be a blip. So do you sit it out and wait, potentially miss returns and potentially not book any losses, or wait till it drops? But then when is the bottom? When will you know when the bottom of a market hits? And at the moment for me, what he does say in this article is about putting money in the market and taking your profits. And that's what I'm all about. It's only profit when it's in your pocket. So the way to play this game is buy in, not all your equity, keep some cash free, of course. If we go to the ASX, a bunch of ones I followed. The only one surprised today was Perseus Mining. Me and Gold Miner down a little bit, but the other miners up a little bit. And it really was a bit of a mixed bag day today. Wiser recovering. It sort of had a bit of a choppy trade, up quite a lot, down a little bit, up a little bit, down a little bit. But overall, this shows to me there's still strength in the market. There's no one massively selling, and I think if we keep holding this 6,000 mark on the ASX200, that's showing strength, and on the S&P, anything above 3,000 is good from this low here, but definitely above 3,100 is looking good. So on the markets, I'm seeing strength. Happy to continue investing in there for the short to medium term. Gold itself, now this was surprising. I saw a crossover here from the 50 to 200 day, and then another cross back when the 50 is headed back above the 200, and that's where I think the strength on a technical point of view is going to show there. RSI, PVT is showing pretty good support there. So absent of any, again, negative fundamentals, I think this will naturally drift up as well, but just watch your positioning on that one. At any time, there could be a pretty sharp snapback. On the energy market, WTI still continuing its run. I was surprised at this. I thought it would come back down and try and match up to its 50-day moving average. It's looking towards oversold in the 4 hour, and also the uncertainties around OPEC, but we do have swelling inventories. So if you are going along on the WTI, I'd be extremely careful of that. At some point, there could be a sharp retraction as the inventories kick in. And on natural gas, it has starting to build. I think there is some hotter weather on the horizon. If that continues, you'll hit this 50, 200-day crossover on the upward swing. You can see RSI supporting that, and PVT is as well. Moderate demand on NatGas weather. You can see as America's getting hotter, obviously that demand, once we start getting to consistent high, that will push the price quite higher. On the crypto markets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, now you've got the death cross here, so-called death cross with the 50-day moving under the 200. So we're interested to see this weekend if there is a massive sell-off. PVT is still low, RSI looking towards the lower end, seeing if it's going to bounce off this lower fib retracement as well, and the same for Ethereum. The two sort of altcoins looking at the moment is Golem, which has just been considering its raise over the past 2 months now. This is going from the start of June. And with Power Ledger, if this continues to another drop down here, we'll consider getting in. There's been some good articles. It's a Great Western Australian coin in the energy market, and a lot of positive sentiment in the market around that. Surprised at Litecoin, looking again for another entry point for this. If it does drop below this lower fib level, I'll be looking at a buy-in for that. Again, the 50-day has dropped under the 200, and it is in the lower retracement zone. And NEM, I put this one in there because earlier this week I was talking about how just a pretty easy trade. RSI was low. pretty much up here, take profits, and just keep an eye on that for the future. So interesting to see over the weekend. This could be the weekend where Bitcoin does consider itself bearish and head under 9,000, whether that will do future sell-offs. Unsure if this is going to be the weekend we hit over 10. And as for the markets for next week, I'll be looking to see what happens at the futures market at the end of the Saturday morning session in Australia, and that'll give the direction for the week ahead. Happy trading and happy profits.